Sudhanshu, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Thank you for waiting. How are you feeling today? Nice to see you. I think we're seeing each other for the first time.
Yeah,
Good. So at times, if you have planned a session, you stick to the schedule. कभी थोड़ा आगे पीछे होता है. But good to see you are there. Are you comfortable with Hindi, English? How?
both
What
is fine.
language? Good. Little under the weather today. How are you feeling?
Great, actually. Yeah.
Chalo, nice. So when we talk about ground studies, okay, it is a very interesting phase. This is generally a very not as dynamic as our flight training phase, or not as dynamic as our career as a pilot, but it is very important. What I have seen in my career with respect to giving training in flying schools, especially ground training, I've been doing this since quite some time. 2015 was when I professionally started training in aviation. Okay. And first I was teaching at an engineering college, aircraft engineering college. And it was a choice to get into teaching because I wanted to pursue, what do we say, PhD in human error in aviation. So I had a topic, I had to do research, I was doing masters in organizational psychology. So my dream and plan was to do something into human error in aviation to fix the issues related to what we call as, I'll tell you. I hope you can see the screen.
I can, yes.
It's called CFIT. Okay, controlled flight in terrain. Out of all the accidents that we have, 60% of them are because of human error, and out of all the accidents due to human error are because of CFIT. So for me, that became more of an interest and purpose-based thing to find out why. Luckily, when I was so when you are an instructor, and when you are a good instructor, when people notice that okay, you can teach, when you realize that you can teach, so people run behind you. People run behind you as in, you teach for us, you teach for us, because everybody has a academy and there are colleges who need instructors. So I got a chance to teach for flying schools also and engineering schools also. I used to do both. I used to teach at flying schools also, engineering schools also. That's where I realized that ground study phase is a phase where if you don't get proper training, then the whole of your career becomes very difficult to achieve. It is because of the lack of knowledge, in simple words. Now, now everybody has an infrastructure. We need a classroom, we need AC, we need a teacher, and we need a schedule. We need to pay fees, in simple words. And in that, it all depends upon the instructor, how they are teaching. It all depends upon the student, how they are taking. And then it also depends upon the director of the schools, how they control everything. Director, as in whoever has invested money, whoever owns it, whoever takes the most profit. Initially, it's all good. Initially, you feel, wow, you're teaching for a pilot, you're teaching for a senior pilot, you're teaching for this guy, that guy, this businessman, that businessman. But in the end, you realize that everybody is doing it for money. The problem arises in the quality of learning from the student's end. I'm just sharing one on one with you. I'm doing this face to face session for an admission inquiry for the first time after a long time. Generally, we do it over phone or over text. But I thought I'll take this opportunity because you're just 18. I thought I'll take the time and opportunity to explain the importance. So, you know, wherever you go, whatever you do, you need to know the importance and you need to protect yourself from anything going wrong. It's like that.
Right.
Now,
Right.
yesterday you said over call that, sir, the remuneration and the investment, it's a big thing, but it makes sense if I can achieve it. So we know how much money goes into it. It's not just about the money, it's also about the risk. When you think about
Right.
a doctor, when you think about a doctor's job is very risky. But at a time they're dealing with only one life. If something goes wrong, it's one life that is at risk, and that too we sign off. The family signs off. No, what do we call it? no, a disclaimer basically. If anything goes wrong, the hospital is not liable. When you talk
Right.
about a pilot's job, a small mistake can result into human error, and human error is known to cause 60% of accidents. Imagine. And then you will be dealing with 200 lives, your life. It's a big deal. So I
Right.
realized that when in medicine, you cannot have shortcuts and take 10 years to get a doctor certification, proper certification, then what is happening in aviation is that only a few students are able to learn the way everybody is teaching. Those who are self-studious, those who are a little bit intelligent on their own or a little bit hardworking on their own, and the time needed to give ground training and the time taken for ground training, it doesn't match. Everybody is rushing to have three month based courses and have 4 batches, 5 batches in a year so that they have the rolling and they have their income and they have the profits. But thinking about all subjects, let's talk about your subjects. So I'm just telling you my experience and why I started ICATS and why we are doing what we are doing in simple words.
Right.
So you take NAV, you take regs, you take MET, you take Tech General, you take RT, then you also have Tech Specific. These are just short codes. You will learn about all these even if you don't know slowly and steadily. All this now can easily take 3 to 4 months if done in a very good way, the way it's required for you to study well, properly, and keep knowledge intact, not just till CPL ground papers, but also till ATPL levels, type rating levels. There are many reasons why you need to learn everything properly. Minimum regs somewhere cut to cut, being very fast, 2 to 3 months, I would say. Met, I would say it's not that difficult. People can study from one book. You can stick to 2 months. Tech general, 3 to 4 months minimum. If you want to study everything about the syllabus, then you do tech specific after doing tech gen. But people don't do it that way. They do tech specific, they do a question bank, clear the exams. Basically, we need to study every concept given to us in the syllabus because everything is practically applicable to us in our field, just like in medicine it is. But the problem is, I have seen that students are paying 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 4 lakh in ground schools, places with good infrastructure, bad infrastructure, whatsoever, reputed people, non-reputed people. But not everybody is getting the proper level of training. See, we all falter, we all make mistakes, nobody is perfect. But when you see that a student has invested so much money and given exams 2 to 3 times and still not clearing, and the reason they are not clearing the exam is because there is conceptual gap and the course is over, the training is over, everything is over. Now they have to, if they have to study again, maybe they have to start over again, pay again. This was a big issue that nobody was talking about. And because of this issue, I realized that, okay, the director controls everything. If you try to teach a little extra, they will have a problem. And if you don't listen to them, they'll have a problem. But as a teacher, your job is to look after the student and their requirements, not the profit of the company. But as an employee, you have to look at the profit of the company. So you decide. Now, a real teacher will always go towards the students. So what generally happens is nobody makes you understand the importance of tech general because for DGC it is not a compulsory paper in certain settings to get your CPL. They will target NAV 3 months, Reg Met. They'll give you the whole course in 3 months. Some people will teach you RT, some people will not teach you RT. Generally, this is how it goes. For 3 months,
Right.
I don't know, fees will vary from everywhere to everywhere. People will charge whatever they want to charge. There are pilots who are waiting to get a job, they can also teach. There are pilots who are waiting for a call letter, they will also teach. And then there are pilots who have started their flying school, so they will also teach. But nobody's teaching full time, is what I've realized. Everybody is doing as a part time to make some money. Okay.
Hmm.
And most of the instructors are also waiting to get into a job doing flight dispatch, and they're just doing it just to make some money on the side, nothing else. Hardly I have seen anyone full time invested in ground school so far. And that was one area where I saw a big problem that nobody is there to give full time attention. And second was that nobody's teaching properly. They're just doing what PPT, 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 PPT. It's not like that. You have to teach. You have to take time. Come on, flight training you cannot rush. So why you're rushing ground training? They deserve it. They deserve it because this knowledge is going to ask where is the application of this knowledge? Application of this knowledge, I'll tell you, and you have to remember. Okay, no matter where you study from, this should be your personal goal. Wherever you study, you need to take it out from your instructors, from your school, wherever you study. Application first is DGCA, CPL papers. Okay. So your main papers which you'll require to apply for a CPL license. All right. So your papers plus 200 plus hours of flight training plus RT plus medical. Okay. Plus certain fees. You will get your CPL license issued by DGCA. This is what you're gunning for at the moment. Okay. This is the first phase. After CPL, if you have a vacancy for a CPL holder, great. Otherwise, what you can do, you can add your type rating. Okay. You can do
Hmm.
your ATPL papers and then you everything again, medical, other things will be there with you. Then you will get your what do we say? You will get your type rating CPL or you can say type rated ATPL. ATPL has certain conditions you have to meet, certain flying hours. It happens over the course, but you can still do the papers. The difference between CPL and ATPL in syllabus is just 20%. So I'll say CPL is 80%, rest 20% is ATPL. It's like this. So CPL knowledge will be there with you as a basic requirement till eternity, I would say. And the only time that you get to study is during this ground phase.
Right.
Now, you saw a lecture and you said, sir, your lecture stood out. That's the only difference. It's not standing out. We are doing the bare minimum that we are supposed to do. And I feel that I can do much better. I can have bigger infrastructure and I can have more teachers teaching simultaneously. But it's not possible. I'm not getting any teacher who will be able to match the way I'm teaching. What to do? I have to take all lectures. I have to teach by myself. And that's my job. I'm trying to do my best. So that's how we have to think that, okay, what are we doing? Why are we doing? Where do we have to go? Ground studies is a short-term course. You give yourself anywhere between minimum 4 months if you are rushing with age, if you are rushing with other things. There's so many students who are doing, jobs, who have been saving money 5, 10 years, who are cabin crew and who are into their 25, 27, 28, 30s. For them, they have to rush. If they can give full
Hmm.
time, great. If they cannot give full time, great. Somebody who's just 17, 18 and starting to build career, you have a very good opportunity to do everything within at max 1.5 to 2 years, minimum 1.5 to 2 years to 3 years maximum. Everything. Starting with ground training, flight training, type rating, like this. 3 years because a lot of unplanned things will happen. A lot of unplanned things will happen. Your paperwork can get stuck, can have issues, flight training can get stuck, funding can get stuck. You might not clear papers in time. Anything can go wrong. So
Right.
our strategy generally, which we have seen, senior pilots training their children, training their relatives, is first do your ground papers, first get an idea of your airline. So many of the pilots they send their nephews, nieces to engineering schools just to learn 3 years about basic engineering of the aircraft, clear papers on the side, and then they send them to flying schools. It's their own secret, little secret. And that's how then they make their own children work hard and spend 3 to 5 years in aviation before they can touch the skies. It's like that. Because they know what it takes because they have been running the country, running the aviation in the country. But other students who are freshers, who don't have relatives or don't have such immediate contacts, they don't know all this. So this is where they go to flying schools, they see infrastructure, they talk to admission counselors, and our job is to believe as a student. If we go to a school, if we choose a school, our job is to believe. So we believe, and at times it works, at times it doesn't work. It's like that. So we have to be well aware that it should work for us. That's it. Not everybody is bad, nobody is bad, everybody is working, all schools are giving students success rate and this and that, everybody is good. Am I going to get the knowledge or not? It's not about the results. Now there are two ways to get results. Either you give 2000 question bank and hope that 100 will come out of it, which is highly a probability, or you teach them, then help them solve the question bank and make them solve on their own logic, merit, and clear the exams. Now, I believe real education will come in the second way. But to get results, everybody is like हर बच्चे को पढ़ा नहीं सकते, टाइम नहीं है, हर बच्चा पढ़ नहीं सकता, एमसीक्यूज ही तो है, क्वेश्चन बैंक दे दो, दो तीन सेशन में से एक सेशन तो ऐसा आएगा कि ज्यादा रिपीटेड क्वेश्चंस आएंगे, तो वो तो वहां पास हो जाएगा। तो बच्चों को आंसर पता है, कई बच्चों को मैं बता रहा हूँ, बट
हम्म
कैसे आया वो आंसर वो नहीं पता। चलो आप पेपर पास कर लिया, आपको सीपीएल आ गया, आपने फ्लाइट ट्रेनिंग पास कर ली, फ्लाइट ट्रेनिंग इज इजियर देन ग्राउंड ट्रेनिंग, आई हैव रियलाइज्ड। ओके, क्योंकि वहां सीरियसली सिखाते हैं, यहाँ सीरियसली नहीं सिखाते, इतना सा प्रॉब्लम होता है।
हम्म
आप सीपीएल मिल गया, टाइप रेटिंग में स्ट्रगल करोगे, टाइप रेटिंग में आपके एक्स्ट्रा सेशन जाएंगे, एक्स्ट्रा टाइम जाएगा, एक्स्ट्रा पैसे जाएंगे, बिकॉज ऑल दिस नॉलेज विल बी रिक्वायर्ड। टेक जनरल नॉलेज वुड बी रिक्वायर्ड, बट नो बडी वुड गाइड यू फॉर टेक जनरल, बिकॉज कंपलसरी नहीं है लाइसेंस के लिए, ऐसा है। सो वी हैव टू डू टेक्जन ऑल्सो बिफोर वी आर डन विद आवर फ्लाइट ट्रेनिंग, ये हमें पता होना चाहिए। या तो अभी पढ़ लो, या अभी आरटी रेग्स मैट नैम निकाल लो, फ्लाइट ट्रेनिंग जैसे स्टार्ट हो रही है, फ्लाइट ट्रेनिंग के साथ साथ 1 से 1.5 साल मिनिमम लग सकता है आपको, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन वेयर यूर फ्लाइंग फ्रॉम। उतने टाइम में तो आपको टेक्जन करना ही करना है, फर्स्ट 6 मंथ्स में ही कर लो आप। दिन के 2-2 घंटे भी दोगे फ्लाइट ट्रेनिंग शेड्यूल में, कितना भी रिगरस हो आप कर सकते हो, ऐसा होता है। तो ये आपको चीज़ें समझनी है खुद के लिए, दिस वुड बी द बेस्ट वे टू गो अबाउट इट। मैं मेरे स्टूडेंट्स को यही गाइड करूंगा, आपको भी यही गाइड करूंगा। सेकेंड थिंग, एयरलाइन जब वैकेंसी देती है आपको ऑन बेसिस ऑफ सीपीएल, तो वैकेंसी पे फर्स्ट राउंड होता है रिटन पेपर फॉर 100 मार्क्स, जहाँ पे
हम्म
सबसे बड़ी स्क्रीनिंग होती है। वो रिटन पेपर का पूरा सिलेबस सीपीएल ग्राउंड स्कूल का सिलेबस है, जिसमें 50% टेक्जन आता है। समझ रहे हो आप? तो अगर आपने इतने साल टेक्जन नहीं पढ़ा है, और फिर आपको पता है वैकेंसी आ रही है, तो आपको फिर रिफ्रेशर कोर्सेज देते हैं ग्राउंड स्कूल, 10 दिन में टेक्जन, 20 दिन में टेक्जन। वो ऊपर ऊपर से कराएंगे कि तुम्हें कुछ तो आए, बट इट्स नॉट व्हाट यू रियली डिजर्व एज अ पायलट फ्रॉम अ ग्राउंड स्कूल पर्सपेक्टिव। यू डिजर्व रिगरस ट्रेनिंग, जो बुक में दिया है उतना ही, कोई एक्स्ट्रा नहीं पढ़ाने वाला है। सबको लगता है आप एक्स्ट्रा पढ़ा रहे हो, बट ऐसा नहीं होता है। जितना टाइम लगता है उतना ही टाइम लगता है पढ़ने में। कोई कोई जानबूझ के फालतू में एक्स्ट्रा टाइम क्यों लगाएगा, आप मुझे बताओ, वाई?
हम्म
है ना? ऐसा है, सो यू हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल अबाउट इट। आपको फिर सेकंड एप्लीकेशन कहाँ है हमारा, डीजीसीए पेपर्स हो गया, सेकंड एप्लीकेशन हो गया एयरलाइन एंट्री एग्जाम्स। ओके, ये सबसे बड़ा चीज़ है कि वैकेंसी कम आती है, एप्लीकेशन एप्लीकेंट्स 1000 होते हैं, सारे बड़े फिल्टर यहीं होने वाले हैं। किसी की पर्सनालिटी भी अच्छी है, कॉन्फिडेंस है, अच्छा पायलट है, बट अगर ये एग्जाम नहीं क्लियर की तो उसको सेकंड राउंड में नहीं भेजेंगे।
राइट
अब ठीक है, क्वेश्चन बैंक वाले क्वेश्चंस भी आ सकते हैं, ट्रिकी क्वेश्चंस भी आ सकते हैं। अभी एयरलाइन तो स्मार्ट है, एयरलाइन को एम्प्लॉयज चाहिए जो सिंसियर हैं, तो एयरलाइन शॉर्टकट्स नहीं देखेगा। एयरलाइन अगर कोई वे में कुछ टाइप भी कर रहा है किसी से, फैमिली मेंबर से या किसी से, तो वो एक कंसेंट रखेगा कि इसको पूरा एबल बनाओ, फिर ही इसको कॉकपिट में हम डालेंगे। तो इवेंचुअली फिर उन पे भी काम होती है, भले रेफरेंस से जाए या कुछ टाइप से जाए। इन द एंड यू हैव टू बिकम प्रोफिशिएंट। तो स्ट्रगल कर करके, ऐसे नहीं तो वैसे नहीं तो आपको खुद पे ये सब काम करना ही पड़ेगा, जो यू वर सपोज टू डू इन योर ग्राउंड स्कूलिंग फेज। ऐसा मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको। तो
हम्म
यहाँ पे बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, जो आगे जाके लोगों का 1-2 साल वेस्ट होता है, अटेम्प्ट्स वेस्ट होते हैं, अपॉर्चुनिटीज वेस्ट होती हैं, एक्स्ट्रा पैसे लगते हैं। फ्लाइट ट्रेनिंग के लिए ऐसे भेज देते हैं लोग। अभी आप मेरे पास आए हो, अगर मेरा फ्लाइट स्कूल्स के साथ टाइप है, तो मैं आपको समझा समझा के कन्विंस करके सीधा फ्लाइंग स्कूल भेज दूंगा, कंप्यूटर नंबर भी नहीं अप्लाई करवाऊंगा। ऐसे भी स्कूल्स होते हैं। फिर आप फ्लाई करके आओगे, आप तो खुश हो, आप इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो, खुश हो, आप बहुत अच्छे माइंड से जा रहे हो, आप वापस आओगे सीपीएल लेके, तो पता चलेगा अरे इंडिया के सीपीएल के लिए तो मुझे कन्वर्जन फ्लाइंग करनी है, उसके लिए मुझे पेपर भी देने हैं, पेपर देने के लिए कंप्यूटर नंबर देना है, कंप्यूटर नंबर आएगा कुछ 3 महीने में, मेरा रिसेंसी 6 महीने में ख़त्म हो जाएगा। तो मुझे ऑल 10 और 5 से 6 लाख इन्वेस्ट करने पड़ेंगे। मैं तो प्रिपेयर नहीं था, मैं ऑलरेडी इतना पैसा खर्च करके आया हूँ, अब मुझे पता चला 20 लाख एक्स्ट्रा खर्च हो गए हैं मेरे। ये सब होता है सबसे ज़्यादा। अच्छी चीजें सबको पता है, बुरी चीजों के बारे में कोई बात नहीं करता है। दिस इज वेयर आई हैव कम इन टू इंश्योर ये बुरा ना हो किसी के साथ। ट्राई करें कि कम से कम बच्चों के पास गाइडेंस तो हो और नॉलेज तो हो, बाकी डिसीजन वो खुद ले लें। कुछ बच्चे मेरे लिए भी नेगेटिव फीडबैक देते होंगे, सबके लिए आता है नेगेटिव फीडबैक, सो आई एम नॉट सेइंग आई एम द बेस्ट वन, बट एटलीस्ट ये फिलोसॉफी है जो मैं चाहता हूँ हर बच्चों को समझे कि तुम क्या डिजर्व करते हो, तुम्हें क्या करना चाहिए, एंड उस हिसाब से तुम आगे जाओ, एंड इंडिपेंडेंट रहो और आगे रास्ता अपना खुद का बना सकते हो फिर आप। सो ये जो नॉलेज होगी ना सीपीएल ग्राउंड स्कूल में जो मिलेगी आपको, यही आपका स्ट्रेंथ बनता है आगे जाके। सबसे बड़ा स्ट्रेंथ यही होता है, दिस नॉलेज इज योर बिगेस्ट स्ट्रेंथ। इट्स बेसिक एमबीबीएस वाला नॉलेज, उसके बिना आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते, उसके बिना आप स्पेसिफिकेशन भी नहीं कर सकते हो। ये आपने मास्टर कर लिया ना, और आप समझ गए कि मुझे इंडिपेंडेंट रहना है, इंडिपेंडेंट मतलब कुछ भी पता करना है, लोगों से पूछने की जरूरत नहीं है मुझे, रेगुलेशंस देखने हैं डीजीसीए के, और अपने आप पता करना है। समझ रहे हो ना? आई होप इट्स नॉट गेटिंग टू बोरिंग फॉर यू।
No, not at all. It's I'm getting what you're saying, and this is very crucial. This is very basic. This is
बेसिक इज द राइट वर्ड,
yeah. This is
क्रूशियल
what
इज द
everybody
राइट वर्ड।
deserves. Yeah, like you said.
It's pure basic, it's no rocket science, it's just that nobody's following it.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm not scaring you, yeah. You're just a young chap
No,
past
no.
10 plus 2.
This is actually this is not the first time I have heard like this exact reasoning, and I agree with what you're saying.
So, nothing to be scared of. We need to know our application is DGC CPL papers, airline entry exams. Third, okay, airline interviews. Okay. Then fourth, ATPL papers. And I'll tell you, fifth, what do you think fifth could be? Make wild guess. Where else do you think the knowledge will be applicable?
Just flying in general, flying as a pilot.
Definitely, flying in general. Now, there are students, if those students are listening right now, please don't feel bad. I'm not judging you. There are students who have done 150 hours of flight training in US, who have come back, who are trying to do their RT or do something else, go back, or who have done their CPL and come back. They have flown. They can fly. I'm telling you, flying is easy when you follow instructions given to you by the instructor. The aircrafts themselves are so well designed that flying is very safe. Okay, it's all about the design actually. You just have to follow the manual. You have to follow the minimum and maximums basically. In layman's term, I'm saying this. You'll understand this more when you do tech general. Okay, so if they talk to me, sir, मुझे पढ़ना है. So I have a screening process. So if you want to join ICATS, we have a screening process. It's tedious. We give you demo lectures to study. Then we take a viva. We give you an assignment to do. And then we take a viva. And based upon the viva, if you are incorrect, we tell you how you missed it. And then if you are correct, great. And then if your feedback is good, my feedback is good, then we offer you admission letter. That's how it is. Okay. The demo lectures and all are for you to understand the strategy and whether it works for you or not. Okay. So at the same time, it is for me to see whether you are a student who would really want to invest his intelligence, his time and dedication and hard work to study, because it's not going to be that easy. You have to work hard. You have to sit, do assignment, brain work, all mind work you'll have to do. It's not difficult, but it is tricky. Some places it is very tricky. It's as simple as speed distance time formula. That formula can be applicable in any of the navigation problems, any of the tech general problems. Okay. So you have to use your logic. Okay, is it applicable here? What is applicable? So you have a lot of resources that you'll study about. 30 to 40% of the questions would require you to have combination of these resources to get an answer. A speed distance time formula, simple. If my speed is 350 knots, okay, if my distance is, let's say, 70 nautical miles. Now, knots is nautical miles per hour, okay. So, what will the time be? Time taken, okay. So, here the formula will help me get the information, and my formula would be distance upon speed is equal to time. So my time is equal to 700 upon 350. So 2 hours. So if this is the direct question, I have a formula to get a direct answer. Okay, I hope you're understanding what I'm saying here.
Yeah, I'm following you.
Anything going over the top, you can say, sir, ये सब क्या इतना direct पढ़ा रहे हो आप? You can always ask. You should always ask your instructors. So 2 hours is the time. This generally I can say in aviation terms is estimated elapsed time or total estimated elapsed time. This generally is used during your flight planning. And your flight planning is to do something called as wind velocity triangle. Now, majority of the students don't know the application of wind velocity triangle. Wind velocity triangle is what you will be learning in your demo lectures for your selection process. So we will be seeing whether you understand the concepts and whether you understand the application or not. It's like that. And it is very enriching. Every session will make you feel enriched. Wow, sir, today I studied this, today I studied that. Wow, I feel knowledgeable. I have not flown, but I feel that I have been flying. That's the whole relationship we should to have from flight training. So here I have something like this, arrows and all. So which arrow goes where? What are the three vectors? What does it mean? Everything you need to understand. You as a student need to understand. That understanding converts you from a student to a professional pilot. So you only stay a student for the rest of your life. But with every class, you become professional and professional and professional and more professional. It's like that. As a professional aviator, you're asking, so are you a pilot? I would say no. I'm more of an aviator, I feel. I've always felt that. So I have versatile experience from engineering also, from flying also. I want to do more for the country, for the field of aviation. That's why I've always felt like doing research in CFIT. It's a big deal. I want to make it come out. That's why I did my masters and all. So my whole purpose is to give my full time in what I'm doing. So I'm taking care of the academy full time. So you have an instructor who will be there with you 24 by 7, not a working pilot who would be busy. Now it's a good thing if there's a working pilot. We feel, अरे pilot पढ़ा रहे हैं, but they don't get time. How can they get time? The intent is good, but they don't get time. नहीं
Right.
मिलता है टाइम उनको, तो इसमें लॉस हमारा होता है.
Hmm.
They're all good people. They might be good teachers, but I don't think they have time. I've seen so many students struggling, having invested so many other places. So this is how it is. To get selected at ICATS, you just do a couple of demo lectures. We have a hybrid system so far. The hybrid system for lectures right now is designed in a way that I can teach everyone by myself, nothing else. So the hybrid system has live lectures that are recorded. Okay. This recorded live lectures, you have to study, and it's a very nice exercise if you can get benefit out of it. So this is why we give you demo. In the demo, if you don't feel the benefit, then you don't join. Simple as that. But the knowledge will be with you, and all this already you know, so I'll not be worried. He knows what to do. No matter where he goes, he'll be doing these things. So my job is done. It's like that. So study as if it's a live class. So because it's a live recorded session, there will be interactions. All other students will be there on Zoom. You will be there studying either through YouTube interface or maybe some other interface. YouTube interface is very easy, quick to access, consumes less data, so we are using it. Okay, that's how you came across maybe a certain open lectures. These lectures will be private and access will be given to you on your registered Gmail ID. So as if it's a live class, and for every lecture, okay, every lecture, let's say lecture 1, we will call lecture 1 as L1 short to record it. Every L1, before and after, you stay in touch with me, just like a live class. Before every lecture and after every lecture. Before every lecture, you give me a start update, which I'll guide you when we plan your demo. After every lecture, you send me your notes, plus doubts, plus questions, if any. Once we have resolved this, Once you're clear, only then we will assign L2 to you. It's like this. So you'll only get one lecture at a time, thinking it's a live class. If you have free time, if you have 8 to 10 hours to study, you can study a lot of lectures. If you have just little amount of time, you can study one lecture. So the pace can be regulated and taken advantage of, but compromise should not be there on quality, which you'll not be allowed to, because that's how we will be taking care of your training every lecture at a time, every lecture. So all our students presently who are graduating are using this strategy and taking benefit out of it. A student, I'm not going to take names, but a student who was just in your place last year, he signed up for the whole course, and his father was reluctant that, sir, how will you study? How will you give online? And the fees is not too less, not too high. So I said, sir, I'm there. Don't worry. I'm personally going to look after him. From someone who's just a beginner, by the time 7, 8 months are done, he's become so proficient that he's become first choice for cadet training programs directly. We had not even planned going for cadet, but the way his growth has been through ground training. Now, today, anywhere he goes, he's going to be selected. It's like that. And he's yet to do, I think, one more paper is left for him to finish. But they understand the importance and value, and we have been going on very nicely. That's how it is. So, here, what we are trying to do is not just give you ground training to clear papers, but have personality and character build up, which will take you places. And that's what airlines want in the future. They want independent leaders who can follow instructions and have their own X factor also. So, my job presently is for all my students to be job ready on basis of their knowledge, which they are only going to get through their ground schooling phase. It's like that. And in between, a lot of pravachan, I say it in a fun way, there'll be a lot of jokes. Uh, a lot of pravachan, as in gyan, it is given to you, which will help you in character build up, especially for youngsters. Many people who are seniors, they sometimes feel bad saying, "Sir, ये सब मुझे आता है, आप class में क्यों बोल रहे हो?" But I believe that whenever, no matter what your age is, if you're doing ground studies, give yourself 100% of it. You deserve it, basically. आपने तब नहीं किया, अब कर रहे, but you deserve it. Just forget everything when you're taking a session, and let the session, be it on Zoom, be it anywhere, be it a recorded class, let that session be your escape zone from everything and your area of your passion, which is your flying. It is like that. So I want you to enjoy the session, take away from it as much as you can, read, research, discuss, and within 15 days of your training, you will start feeling as if you have become a professional in aviation just within 15 days. This is what my target is. This is what we are trying to inculcate in students. One of our students, he was so good, he used to work different sectors just to save money in aviation. He was a true passionate aviator. He studied, he did job also to support himself. He was into security, AFSEC, this, that. And I remember when his regulation paper was there, I was yet to do a few lectures for regulations. But till the time that the culture that we have established in our students is such that they become self-dependent. They know what to do. They know how to do. And that is the greatest learning. It's like if someone is hungry, you give them a fish to eat and they'll be satisfied once. But if you teach them how to fish, then they will be satisfied for the rest of their lives. It's a very old saying, I guess. I am not saying it properly. So
Yeah.
your job would be to study and take the best out of your ground school. Our strategy would be like this. First we'll start with NAV plus RT. Then maybe after a month, when you're proficient with Nav basics and RT overall, we will start with Regs plus Met, like this. So you can give 3 to 4 months max for Nav. RT you can still aim for June session, which is the planned session with old syllabus and examinations. We are not sure if the new syllabus and new pattern is going to be implemented or not so soon. It might be, it not might be. So we will be, when you join, Once you're cleared with your demo lectures and everything, then we'll get on another session where we'll make an timeline for you, a rough timeline which we'll try to achieve. So we'll make a timeline, 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, depending upon your flying goals and your personal time of dedication for lectures, and we'll try to meet that timeline. So we'll have a target कि मेरा nav personally इतने में खत्म होना चाहिए, RT इतने में होना चाहिए, regs इतने में, met इतने में. So anywhere if you give yourself 3 to 6 months, all this is achievable. At the same time, it can take up to 3 months to get into your flight training school, paperwork, and everything. So I don't know when you want to fly, but as soon as within 9, 10 months, you can think about flying also, starting today, in a very good way, giving yourself the best of training. But you should tell me yourself when we do your timeline counseling session. When do you want to fly? What have you thought? At the same time, I'll be advising you to not just be a 10 plus 2, but do a graduation on the side from an online university or a distance university where you don't have to give full time attendance. You just have to give exams. And by the time you are done with your type rating, I said 3 years max, you should also have a graduation because sometimes for job applications, they do have requirement of graduations also, graduate candidates also. That's why I was asking you yesterday that I just 10 plus 2, are you thinking of graduation? You said no, and I like your clarity for your career. So you do it just on the side where you just have to give few exams and take a course which is your second next best passion that you will enjoy. It could be coding, it could be commerce, it could be business administration, whatever you want. So we have many options, very minimal fee, and lot of flexibility. We call them open learning universities, distance learning universities, private and government, both. And I'll guide you, and we can select, and you can sign up, and that will be there on the side. If you miss a semester or two, they give you extension to do it in the next semester. It's designed in a way for working professionals, basically. So you also have to get a graduation and not shy away from it, thinking I don't want to study, I just want to do pilot. Give everything to your piloting thing. Also get your graduation on the side. It will only be good for you in the future. So that graduation you do in the most easiest way. Don't take a full-time graduation. It will not allow you to do your ground studies. Then it will take you all 4 years to finish your ground studies also, 3 years. That's what I've seen. Many of our students had joined us when they were doing second year of BTech, sincere students. And by the time they graduated, fourth year of BTech, they graduated their ground school. That was our plan. So the moment their BTech is done, they'll get into flight training or cadet program. And we have successful students in almost all cadet programs also, and so many different schools or flying schools also. Earlier, I was not sending anyone at any specific flying school. I gave them the choice. But now we are trying to find good schools where, where our students can go and deserve and fly there also. So it's all good. We have a small community of like-minded individuals and youngsters who are like this. And wherever you go, at least one or two students you will find from Invictus or Fly with ICAT. These are the two names with which students know. And this is the community basically. So our students are there all across the country. They are there, Australia also, Canada also. Some are happy, some are not happy, some are frustrated. Not happy because I'll just say that they have not yet finished their course, nothing else. But for me, it becomes an importance of discipline also because if you have signed up for the course 2 years ago and you have not yet finished it, so I have to be a little strict right now. It's been 2 years, you have not finished it. So I have to be strict just to develop that urgency in you. But people don't understand, they take it in a wrong way because they're going through so much of stress. So it happens. But yeah, we need discipline and we need dedication from your end. From the instructor's end, you need quality learning and quality training. And all that combined with the proper planning will make your journey towards the cockpit very smooth, very effective, very cost effective, and very rewarding. These are the words. Like we can have as many words as we want to make it sound good, but we understand what it is all about. So that's it. I hope you get an idea. Nothing is scripted, nothing is planned, just going with the flow to explain things to you based upon what we have spoken. Now you tell me, what are your questions? How are you feeling? When can you take the demo? and I'll guide you accordingly over chat or call, and you study. And 5% of navigation will be taught to you in the first two lectures only. So enjoy. It will be like your first step of becoming professional. But understand everything, and I'll remind you about everything time and again. Don't worry about missing out on anything.
Right. As far as the demo lectures go, I can take them right away.
Hmm. Very nice.
Uh,
I like the spirit.
yeah, and uh, the hybrid model. I just want a clarification that hybrid model you said the lectures would be recorded, and you would be coaching me through the recorded lectures before and after I have finished watching the recording. Correct?
Yeah. So you will take a field today for your demo lecture. So your NAV lecture 1 is for about 3 hours, and your NAV lecture 2 is for about 1 point, I think 1.5 hours. Okay, approx. So simple. You will give me a time. Let's say we fix a time for 4 o'clock. So I'll share an email with you. I'll share lecture link with you, and I'll share lecture study instructions with you. Study instructions are such that, let's say you're clicked on the link at 4 o'clock. I'll be expecting you to start studying at 4 o'clock. So 4 o'clock, when you click on the link, let's say you're using tab or phone or computer, whatever you're using, let's say you're using computer. So click on the link, put full screen, and 4 o'clock, just take a picture of lecture start screen and send it to me. Okay, like this. This is your lecture start update. This is how personally I know that you're sticking to the schedule. Okay. From there on, I know how much length the lecture is going to be. From there on, I'm going to be aware that you are studying. Okay. And then you study the whole lecture. Don't pause unnecessarily. Take breaks as given in class. So you assume it's a live class. You don't have to pause at all. You will only pause if there is a home emergency or medical emergency, which we are positive is not gonna happen. Like this. So you study, study, study. If there are questions asked in the class on Zoom chat, that's when you give me answers on our class chat. We will be using WhatsApp for our class chat, like this. So if I ask a question to students in class, what do you think this answer is? Quickly, you can pick up the phone and you can tell me the answer there in real time. So I know all the questions that I've asked. I'll know your answers. Then correct answers will be discussed in class. You'll realize whether it's correct or not. Let's say you have finished the whole 3 hours. In those 3 hours, you have to ensure you have your notebook ready, you make your notes, you make your natural notes as a student. And once the lecture is over, once the lecture is over, just take a couple of deep breaths, quickly take pictures of all the notes in sequence, page number one, two, three, or just page number one, depending upon how much you have written. Then, using a JPEG to PDF tool, convert JPEG to PDF. I'll tell you how to rename the PDF and share it with me in real time. Along with the PDF, you'll be taught to share your doubts as well. So we'll have a record of your notes digitally also with us, which we can always refer. And I'll get to see if you made any mistakes. I'll get to see where your focus was not. And I'll ask you questions in your Viva, selection Viva. That Viva will happen after lecture 2 and an assignment before the Viva. So sharing an image, updating me, and sharing notes and discussing doubts post lecture is how we'll be communicating in the easiest way. Okay, just by a couple of chats, it's not very time consuming. And if you feel the need to talk, then you'll say, "Sir, I want to talk." So we'll quickly arrange for a call and talk. It's like that. And then if you say, "Sir, no doubts," if you are satisfied, which you will be most case scenarios, or maybe not, then you'll be like, "Sir, done. I'm going to do my next lecture in half an hour or tomorrow, same time," which we'll already have planned. And then same process you'll follow for the next lecture. You might be thinking, मेरे को शायद नहीं जमने वाला है, deserve live sessions. I'll say you try. I would not do it if it was not effective, but you try. If it's not effective, it's fine. Maybe we'll work out something else. If not, at least this much will stay with you through iCats. It's like that. I don't want to force anyone anywhere. I want it to be your choice. So when
Right.
you are studying the demo, it should be from full interest and full positive expectations. That's what I want from you. Because it works. It's good. It's really good. It's much better than, I think, it all became intuitive, you know. It all became intuitive because I had to cater to a lot of students and teach myself. And I realized that this is a way where I can teach any student anytime individually. And that way I can teach a lot of students because we are doing remote learning online. So we need comfort of time also. So that way it works. And I think this is where the purpose fills. And then we help with scholarships also, payment plans also. So it becomes a good breather to students also. They don't have to really worry about it if they have some struggles. There's a side effect to it. Some students don't pay and they run away, but it's okay. It's part and parcel. Our job is to trust and give what we can give. So this is how your personal attention would be. Then assignments would be there. First, I'll give you assignment sheets, which are an excerpt from your textbooks. And after lecture 17, 18, I'll be making you acquainted with the textbooks. And the biggest and the most serious of textbooks is what you would be mastering by the time you finish your course. So people generally you will see outside when you will go in the field and meet people, you will realize that फालतू में लोग स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं. आपने बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ाई किया. It's simple as that. You'll be like अरे मैं तो सब कर लिया है. अभी भी कितने बच्चे हैं जो 1.5 साल 2 साल पहले इंक्वायरी की थी उन्होंने, फिर वो लोग ने कहीं ऑफलाइन ज्वाइन किया था. अब 1 साल 1.5 साल बाद वो बोल रहे हैं सर नाम घर पे खराब हो गया है, पेपर क्लियर नहीं हो रहा है, 3-3 महीना हम दूसरे सिटी में रह के आए हैं, 6-6 महीना दूसरी सिटी में रह के आए हैं, बट पेपर नहीं पास करवा रहे हैं, आप पढ़ा दो. अब वो ऑनलाइन ही पढ़ रहे हैं हमसे बिकॉज क्वालिटी जैसे मैं दे पा रहा हूँ वैसे पढ़ रहे हैं. सो इट्स जस्ट अ मोड ऑफ लर्निंग राइट नाउ, बट एजुकेशन इज द सेम. इट्स लाइक दैट. तो प्रॉब्लम ये आती है उन बच्चों के लिए कि उनके पेरेंट्स बार बार पूरे पैसे नहीं भर पाते. फिर दे डाउट देयर चिल्ड्रन. तुम नहीं कर
हम्म।
सकते हो. फिर मुझे उनको कम पैसों में कराना पड़ता है, वो डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है. बट आई ट्राई माई बेस्ट. अगर बच्चे में डेडिकेशन है तो सो इट वर्क्स. अभी भी आप देखोगे तो कितने बच्चे आ रहे हैं ना, सब सब पढ़ रहे हैं सर. नेक्स्ट लेक्चर कब है, कोई रिवाइज कर रहा है, ये लेक्चर पढ़ा नहीं पढ़ा, आज छुट्टी चाहिए नहीं चाहिए. सो इट्स ऑल गोइंग ऑन एंड ऑन एंड ऑन. Plus, last thing, you can always meet with me. If I'm visiting to Pune, if you're visiting Mumbai, I can meet you. So that is always there. If you want me to specially come and visit you and your family, I will do that also. Pune is where I studied my first aviation thing. So it's all possible. Don't worry. I'm there and I will be there with you till the time you get your job. It'll be like that. So you'll get a personal coach, not just an instructor, guidance counselor, everything. ऐसा है. Tell me more questions.
So, about you said about what you said just now, I am fine with recorded lectures. Actually, I prefer recorded lectures because you don't have to ask the teacher to repeat themselves. You can just go back in time and just have them explain to you exactly how they intended again from the start. So I like that feature of recorded lectures. So recorded lectures won't be a problem. You were talking about the uh, you were talking about payment plans and whatnot. So I naturally want to ask what is the pricing like of the whole course subject wise, or how are your offerings?
So we will send you an offer letter
Right.
if you clear the Viva. So
Okay.
maybe if you finish the first two lectures today or tomorrow, based upon that, you will get it. We'll be offering you up to 25% scholarship. Okay. The amount can vary from student to student. It can be for tech general, including tech general. Um, I mean, see, there is standard pricing for all papers, and then pricing varies also depending upon school to school, people to people. So I've tried to keep it in between both. Uh, Very famous schools charging 70 to 90K for a paper, and very basic schools charging only 20, 30 for a paper. So I've tried to kept it in between. Okay. So once you get selected, once I give you the offer letter, if you don't like the fee, you can talk to me. We can try to increase your scholarship a little bit by giving you a couple of more lectures to prove yourself, and we can make that happen. So don't worry about it. You will get to know the fee after you have cleared your Viva. Simple. It will be there on paper, and the letter will be issued for you and your parents both. So you can all check, discuss. We'll give you two payment plans. But if they don't suit you, then we can extend the payment plans also. No worries there. So payment
Right.
flexibility will be there if you get selected. If not, then we'll not get there only. We'll tell you आप next time try करो, 3 महीने बाद try करो, बाद में आपको बताएंगे हम. So we don't have a
Right.
cost sheet like this that we show anyone directly, but I've given you a rough range. So NAV and TechGen can go up to 50, 60 with scholarship. Maybe we can reduce the scholarship, increase the scholarship more. It will go down. Regs and Met somewhere in the range of 30, 40. Okay, not trying to keep it too high. RT, we are trying to keep it minimum, so somewhere between 30 to 40 again. So this is the range I'm telling you. Total will be made, and I'll show you subject-wise fees also, total also. But this is the rough range. I've actually given you out the fees in a rough range. इसी के बीच में होगी पूरी पूरे. So आप सिलेक्ट हो जाओगे तो हम आपको और स्कॉलरशिप्स दे सकते हैं. कोई इश्यू नहीं है. विल बी मोर देन हैप्पी टू डू अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ फंडिंग ऑल्सो फॉर यू. हमारे बच्चे हो जाओगे आप तो फिर इट्स ओके. नो प्रॉब्लम देयर. And your course will be valid for a long time, maybe a year, year and a half minimum. बट इफ़ यू आर ए गुड स्टूडेंट तो आपको हम 2-3 साल की भी वैलिडिटी दे सकते हैं पूरी पूरी. कई बच्चों को तो हम लाइफ टाइम भी दे देते हैं. अभी हमने नया रूल बनाया है कि इन केस आप डेफिनेट पीरियड में नहीं कर रहे हो तो एक छोटा सा रिवाइवल फ़ी पे करना होता है. मे बी 10K 12K और समथिंग. But some students are like, sir, क्यों मत लो ना. So we are still working on it. We'll tell you that in your case if you are signing up. But it won't be a big deal. It will just for you to be, current. But if you clear your exams and afterwards you need resource in future for ATPL, that you will get for free then. ऐसा कुछ है. I'm trying to give as much as I can for as least as I can. So you can always ask. You can prove yourself. So final decision will be made by me, but everything is handled by accounts team. But yeah, final approvals will be given by me. So if you prove yourself and if you talk and request, then we get it done to you. There are some students where I cannot allow more scholarship because still somewhere they are not able to follow the same ideology. So there are some students that I have given them 60% scholarship also for an individual paper, 70% also, 80% also, because of their passion and their background. But some people who have a good background, who want to do it but not willing to work hard and still being a little laid back, there you actually realize you have to do more hard work there. Because उनको लगता है वो सही कर रहे हैं बट दिख रहा है वो नहीं कर रहे हैं, और उनको समझाने में और उनका ईगो ब्रेक करके उनमें घुसने के लिए बहुत टाइम लगने वाला है. बिकॉज वो इतनी जल्दी एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेंगे. सो वहाँ पे फिर हम उनको स्कॉलरशिप्स नहीं दे सकते इतना. सो इट्स अ वेरी डिफरेंट वे. इट्स वेरी ऑर्गेनिक एक्चुअली. So with you, I got a feel, mainly with you, it was because you have taken a lecture and then come. So that makes a big difference. And just not a normal inquiry, I would say. So don't worry. तो जैसे ही 2 लेक्चर फिल करोगे, फिनिश करोगे और असाइनमेंट सॉल्व करोगे एंड वाइवा दे दोगे, 15 मिनट वाइवा होगा ऑन कॉल, तुरंत आपको सेम डे या नेक्स्ट डे ऑफ लेटर एंड फीस आ जाएगा. एंड साइड बाय साइड मैं बोलूँगा तुम्हें इंटरेस्ट है तो कंटिन्यू रखो लेक्चर्स. 2-3 दिन भी लग रहा है वो सब प्लान करने में, चलता रहेगा, पढ़ते रहना. अगर आप नहीं भी ज्वाइन करोगे तो जहाँ तक पढ़े हो वो हमेशा आपके साथ रहेगा. नोबडी इज गोना चार्ज यू. एंड ज्वाइन करोगे तो इट्स गुड, वी हैव सेव टाइम. ऐसा हो जाता है फिर. सो मैं तो ये होप करता हूँ कि ज्वाइन करेंगे तो 1 हफ्ता 2 हफ्ता भी लग रहा है तो 2 हफ्ते तक पढ़ते रहो ना. आप क्यों फ्लो छोड़ रहे हो? अभी आपने चालू कर दिया है तो चालू रखो. सो दैट्स हाउ इट्स गोइंग टू बी. ओके. एनालाइज
Okay.
कर सकते हो 60-60 40-40-40, उससे कम ही होगा. उससे कम ही है. ठीक है. इससे कम ही है. So don't worry about it. And if you are worried, share your worries. If you get selected, then all your worries become my worries as long as it is for your career. It's like that.
Right.
Next question.
Uh, well, I'm not sure if this is related. This is not related to the discussion, but it is definitely related to the pilot lifestyle. Uh, I haven't. I have just cleared my medicals. I have not invested much time or money into my career as a pilot yet, right? So I'm still. My few of my concerns are whether I'll be able to get enough sleep because the sleep schedule is so erratic and irregular. and I very much like to sleep in a set pattern, and that would be disrupted, which is fine. But would that be manageable, or would that be not manageable? That
Hmm.
kind of questions.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. It is a very interesting question. I think one of the very first times I'm hearing this question from a student. So this is the spark that I was talking about that I see in you, which I feel instinctively for my students because the job is purpose driven. I'm showing you something on screen right now, and I'm basically teaching you something right now. So try to pick up. You can always ask me questions later on. And I'm also answering your question, okay? So don't get me wrong there. Mm, yeah. So now this is the DGCA website, okay? Do you see it on the screen? Can you see? हमारा
Yeah, I
लक्ष्य है,
can.
our vision.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So everything that you need to know, okay, for your regulations. Now this is your first lecture of regulations. We will learn regulations like this only. We use website, but actually we are using the official documents. We don't have to get printed book. We get live updated things from here. Printed books are from here only, basically for regulations. So these are the tabs. Okay. I'll make you master everything. Don't worry. But these are the tabs. Last tab, regulation. This is the first page, Indian Aircraft Act rule. All this you will learn in basic introduction will be given to you in a RT demo lecture, which I will make you do along with your nav. Okay? Because we still have June attempt for you to clear RT. Highly possible that you get it done and get the monkey off your back. Monkey as in for others it's very serious exam, but if you study in a good way, then you can clear in your first attempt. 80% of our students clear in their first attempt by studying, not by solving question papers. क्वेश्चन पेपर तो फिर आइसिंग ऑन द केक हो जाता है बाद में उनके लिए. सिविल एविएशन रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैज़ सेक्शंस. जैसे एक बुक में इंडेक्स होते हैं, चैप्टर होते हैं, वैसे इसमें सेक्शंस होते हैं. 11 सेक्शंस. कितने? 11. दिमाग में बना लो आप ये, ठीक है? 11 सेक्शंस. आपका पायलट लाइसेंसिंग विल कम इन सेक्शन 7, फ्लाइट क्रू स्टैंडर्ड्स ट्रेनिंग एंड लाइसेंसिंग. ओके. फ्लाइट क्रू ट्रेनिंग में आप जाओगे तो इसमें एक कॉन्सेप्ट होता है जिसको हम फ्लाइट ड्यूटी लिमिटेशन बोलते हैं, FDL. आपके
FDT.
स्लीप, FDT बोल लो उसको. आप
FDT. I heard something like that. Yeah.
आपका ह्यूमन फैक्टर, जो भी एक ह्यूमन फैक्टर्स होते हैं व्हेन दे आर एसोसिएटिंग विद अ जॉब और अ मशीन, अर्गोनॉमिक्स बोलते हैं. आपका ट्रेनिंग स्केड्यूल उसके गाइडलाइंस के अंडर होना चाहिए. दैट ट्रेनिंग स्केड्यूल इज मेड बाय द एयरलाइन, द ऑपरेटर वी कॉल इट. So the operator can give you shift timings और बैक टू बैक शिफ्ट्स ओनली विद इन दैट लिमिटेशन. उससे ज़्यादा देंगे तो आपको फटीग आएगा, स्लीप डेप्रिवेशन होगा. स्लीप डेप्रिवेशन से ज़्यादा होता है फटीग. हमें
Hmm.
फटीग बचाना है. तो आपको फिक्स टाइम नहीं मिलेगा सोने का, बट आपको फिक्स्ड आवर्स मिलेंगे सोने के. समझ रहे हो आप? यू वोंट गेट द सेम schedule to sleep on, but your biological clock will align in a way that you will get the hours to sleep regularly, without which you will not be fit. तो आप देखोगे कि जो सबसे इंस्पायरिंग पायलट्स होते हैं हमारे कंट्री में, दे आर ऑल लीन एंड दे आर ऑल फिट. The older they get, the leaner and fitter they get because of the schedule only. It doesn't mean they don't have parties or don't enjoy. They do it, but they might not be able to make it on Diwali. They will not be able to make it on a specific birth date, but they get their time. उनको देना ही पड़ता है, नहीं तो एयरलाइन का लाइसेंस कैंसिल हो जाएगा. आप एक पायलट को एक हद से ज़्यादा पुश नहीं कर सकते. इट्स ब्रेकिंग द लॉ. इट्स लाइक दैट. सो तुम्हें कौन सा बेस मिल रहा है? पहले तो तुम्हें तुम्हारा होम बेस मिलना इतना इजी नहीं होगा. तो तुम्हें दिल्ली मिलेगा, बैंगलोर मिलेगा. पहले सपोज तुम डोमेस्टिक स्टार्ट करोगे कोई एयरलाइन के लिए, मुंबई मिलेगा. तो वहाँ तुम्हारा बेस बन जाएगा. बेस में तुम्हें फ्लैट नहीं मिलेगा, तुम्हें होटल रूम्स मिलेंगे, तुम्हें 5 स्टार मिलेंगी. तो लाइफस्टाइल बहुत अच्छी मिलेगी, नींद बहुत अच्छी मिलेगी, पिकअप ड्रॉप सर्विस मिलेगी तुम्हें. समझ रहे हो? बट टाइमिंग्स एयरलाइन डिसाइड करेगी बस. तो तुम्हें सुबह 5 का भी स्लॉट मिल सकता है, 12 घंटे फ्लाई करोगे 5 से 5. तो उसके बाद तुम्हें 12 या 16 घंटे एज पर दिस रेस्ट पीरियड मिलेगा. तो उसमें सबसे पहले तुम नींद पूरी करोगे, फिर उठोगे, फिर अपना बाकी काम करोगे, लाइफ का चिल करोगे जो करोगे. चिल भी करना होगा तुम्हें, तो तुम्हें सोचना होगा मेरा नेक्स्ट फ्लाइट कब है, मेरे अल्कोहल लिमिटेशंस क्या है, मेरा जॉब टाइमिंग क्या है, उसके बेसिस पे तुम सोओगे, उस बेसिस पे तुम इंडल्जेंस करोगे जो भी तुम्हें करना है। तो एयरलाइन का स्केड्यूल तुम्हारा लाइफ गाइड करेगा, बट इट विल गिव यू इनफ टाइम टू लिव अ गुड लाइफ स्टाइल, लिव अ गुड लाइफ स्टाइल, नॉट जस्ट मेक अ गुड लाइफ स्टाइल। सो मेरे जैसा इंसान जिसको फ्रीडम ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है, मैं कभी बोलूँगा नहीं, मुझे मेरे को जब जहाँ जाना है मुझे वहाँ जाना है, तो पायलट का जॉब मेरे लिए सही नहीं हो सकता है। बट अगर मैं बोल रहा हूँ मेरा एयरलाइन जो बोल रहा है वो मैं तब करूँगा, तो आपके लिए बेस्ट जॉब है, क्योंकि एयरलाइन आपको बहुत अच्छे से फिर रिवॉर्ड भी करेगा। समझ रहे हो मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? सो अ गुड स्टूडेंट, गुड ग्राउंड स्कूल स्टूडेंट विल बी द वन हु इज फॉलोइंग इंस्ट्रक्शंस. A good ground school student is the one who's following instructions. Good flight school student is the one who's following instructions, asking questions, दोनों जगह पे. And a good professional pilot is one who is following instructions, using his own expertise and giving the best to the company more than what they are required to do. इन्वॉल्व रहना, सब रहना, अच्छे से फ्लाई करना, फ्यूल बचाना, कैसे फ्यूल बचाते हैं, कैसे सबसे व्यवहार रखते हैं, कैसे जूनियर्स को हैंडल करते हैं, एवरीथिंग. सो स्लीप साइकिल तुम्हें बहुत अच्छी मिलेगी, लाइफस्टाइल अच्छी मिलेगी, टाइमिंग, स्केड्यूलिंग आपकी एयरलाइन डिसाइड करेगी. बस इतना ही है. नाइट टाइम भी मिलेगा, डे टाइम भी मिलेगा, दोनों मिलेगा. एक्सट्रीम कुछ नहीं होगा आपके लिए, बिकॉज यू आर द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पर्सन फॉर द एयरलाइन. यू आर द मोस्ट रिस्पॉन्सिबल पर्सन, समझ रहे हो ना, पायलट इज द मोस्ट रिस्पॉन्सिबल पर्सन. तो यहाँ पे मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ कहाँ पे रहता है. सो यहाँ देखो सेक्शन 1, सेक्शंस को सीरीज में डाला है, सीरीज A B C D अल्फ़ाबेटिकली. सीरीज बी में एग्ज़ाम का क्या स्केड्यूल है, क्या सिलेबस है, सारा सिलेबस हम यहाँ से ही आपको देने वाले हैं. ठीक है. फिर नीचे जाओगे आप, मेडिकल्स का क्या रूल है आपका, सब यहाँ मिलेगा तुम्हें इसके सीरीज 2 में. फिर ट्रेनिंग ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस की क्या रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ है, कैसे अप्रूवल मिलेगा. ग्राउंड स्कूल के लिए कोई अप्रूवल नहीं चाहिए होता है, इसीलिए मुझे लगता है कहीं दिक्कतें भी हो रही है इतनी. बट फ्रीडम भी है. बट ये फ्लाइट ट्रेनिंग ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के लिए है. फिर प्रोफिशेंसी चेक्स के लिए क्या है, कोई रिलेटिव किसी का प्रोफिशेंसी चेक कर रहा है तो वहाँ पार्शलिटी नहीं होनी चाहिए बेसिकली. देन लाइसेंस रेटिंग इशू कैसे करने हैं हमें, फॉरेन कन्वर्जन, इंग्लिश अप्रूवल, एवरीथिंग. देन फ्लाइट इंस्ट्रक्टर अप्रूवल्स क्या है हमारे, फ्लाइट ड्यूटी टाइम लिमिटेशन. आई वॉन्टेड टू जंप टू दिस, बट मैं डायरेक्ट नहीं जंप कराना चाहता हूँ. आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू एनरिच यू अ लिटिल बिट मोर. शुरू में सब तुम्हें लगेगा मुश्किल है, गो इजी, इंजॉय, जितना समझ रहा है समझो, नहीं समझ रहा है गिव इट सम टाइम. 10 से 15 दिन में यू बिकम प्रोफिशिएंट. सच बता रहा हूँ मैं तुम्हें. तो फ्लाइट ड्यूटी लिमिटेशन. तो केबिन क्रू का क्या है, केबिन क्रू इज ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल इन द एयरक्राफ्ट, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. आपके पार्टनर्स बन जाते हैं समझ लो आप, एक सेफ ऑपरेशन फ्लाइट के लिए. सेफ्टी के लिए बहुत ज़रूरी होता है उनका काम. आई डोंट नो इफ वॉट एवर एनी बडी सेज. Part 2, Series J, Part 2. Duty period, flight duty period, limitation and rest periods for flight and cabin crew in helicopter operations. हमारे कुछ स्टूडेंट्स हैं जो एयरफोर्स रिटायर्ड हैं, वो कुछ हेलीकॉप्टर पायलट्स हैं, कुछ फिक्स विंग पायलट्स हैं, उनको कमर्शियल ट्रांजिशन भी हम कराते हैं. समझ रहे हो आप? सो मेनी ऑफ आर स्टूडेंट्स आर रिटायर्ड कमांडर्स एंड स्क्वाड्रन लीडर्स ऑल्सो, बिकॉज दे नो ना क्या हो रहा है, ट्रेनिंग क्वालिटी मिल रही है उनको, गैप फिल करना है डिफेंस से कमर्शियल में. 20 साल पुराना पढ़ा था, नया पढ़ना है. सो वन ऑफ देम हैज़ रिसेंटली गॉट इनटू हिज कमर्शियल हेलीकॉप्टर, एंड उन्होंने जॉब के साथ साथ किया था ये चीज़, उनके लिए बहुत मुश्किल था. आरटीबी फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में उन्होंने निकाला, पेपर्स भी किए, एटीपीएल भी कर रहे हैं. आई थिंक 2-3 months अगो ओनली ही गॉट अ जॉब इन मुंबई फाइनली इन कमर्शियल. एंड उनको एयरफोर्स नहीं, वो आर्मी के लिए उड़ाते थे. अब पता है
हम्म।
नॉर्थ में बाढ़ आई थी, कश्मीर साइड किधर, तो उन्होंने इवैक्यूएशन कराया था वहाँ पर. सच इम्पोर्टेंट. सो वी हैव such people in our, in our academy basically. कभी कभी उनको बुलाते हैं हम लेक्चर्स में आपसे मिलने के लिए, बात करने के लिए, जब उनको टाइम होता है. सुखोई के पायलट्स हैं हमारे पास. देखो ये आ गया तुम्हारा ड्यूटी पीरियड, फ्लाइट ड्यूटी फॉर एयर ट्रांसपोर्ट ऑपरेशंस. Part 3, फ्लाइट सीरीज J, Part 3. Part 3 पे क्लिक करके देखते हैं. थोड़ा मैं जूम आउट करता हूँ. So flight duty, rest period and limitations and prescribed rest period. So this is where you will be legally allowed to rest. उसमें फिर तुम अगर रेस्ट नहीं करोगे तो तुम सही जॉब नहीं कर रहे हो अपना। ऐसा है, तुम्हें रेस्ट करना ही होगा, यूल हैव टू फॉलो अ डिसिप्लिन देयर। तो तुम्हें पता है तुम्हें 10 घंटे मिल रहे रेस्ट करने का और 10 घंटे में 6 घंटे फ़ोन पे बात कर रहे हो, तो 4 घंटे नींद में तुम रिस्क ले रहे हो। फिर समझ रहे हो मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? तो पहले
हाँ।
नींद एंड बाकी सब चीज़ें बाद में। सो आई एम वेरी हैप्पी दैट यू आर वेरी सीरियस विद योर स्लीप। जनरली यंगस्टर्स आर नॉट सीरियस विद देयर स्लीप्स एंड 3 से 4 घंटे तो सोशल मीडिया ही चुरा लेता। बट आई थिंक इट्स अ गुड थिंग जो आप कर रहे हो। सो इसमें सब लिखा है कितना होना चाहिए कितना नहीं होना चाहिए। एक और चीज़ बता रहा हूँ, इंडिया के जो सी आर सेक्शंस है, सिविल एविएशन रिक्वायरमेंट्स बोलते हैं जो हम देख रहे हैं, शॉर्ट में सी आर बोलते हैं कार। These are derived from ICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization, which is our parent body universally regulating civil aviation industry overall for all its member countries. ये भी आपको आरटी डेमो लेक्चर में मिलेगा। तो हम आरटी डेमो लेक्चर करेंगे जो 2 घंटे का होगा, नैव के 2 लेक्चर करेंगे, ठीक है? इट विल एनरिच यू अ लॉट। बस इसमें हम थोड़ा नीचे जाके देखते हैं, डेफिनेशंस हैं वगैरह वगैरह। कभी डेफिनेशंस को आप टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड मत लेना। अगर कोई चीज़ का डेफिनेशन नहीं समझोगे तो सेंटेंस भी नहीं समझोगे, पर्पस भी नहीं समझोगे। समझ रहे हो? एफ
हम्म।
डी पी, फ्लाइट ड्यूटी पीरियड। एफ टी, फ्लाइट टाइम, ड्यूटी पीरियड, मिक्स ड्यूटी। सो सबके अच्छे अच्छे डेफिनेशंस हैं। फटीग मैं तुम्हें बोल रहा था, ये फटीग ही हमारा सबसे बड़ा दुश्मन होता है, मेंटल फटीग, फिजिकल फटीग। दुश्मन एज इन रिजल्ट्स इनटू होम ह्यूमन एरर, ठीक है? होम बेस की मैं बात कर रहा था, इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन योर होम बेस। टेम्परेरी होम बेस भी होता है, नाइट ड्यूटी क्या है वगैरह वगैरह, ठीक है? फटाफट हम देखते हैं कुछ मिल रहा है क्या। थोड़ा टाइम एक्स्ट्रा जा रहा है सेशन में, विल ट्राई टू रैप अप एट 4 o'clock फॉर नाउ, ठीक है? सर्काडियन लो, बेसिकली सर्काडियन रिदम्स आर रिलेटेड टू योर स्लीप साइकिल, सर्काडियन साइकिल। ओके, रेम स्लीप भी होती है। सो ये डेफिनेशन हो गए, ये देख लो आप। फ्लाइट टाइम, फ्लाइट ड्यूटी पीरियड एंड ड्यूटी पीरियड लिमिट्स टू पायलट ऑपरेशन। फिलहाल टू पायलट ऑपरेशन से चलते हैं। द मैक्सिमम फ्लाइट टाइम एंड मैक्सिमम फ्लाइट ड्यूटी पीरियड ड्यूरिंग एनी 24 आवर्स आर इंडिकेटेड इन द। मैक्सिमम अगर आप 8 घंटे फ्लाई कर रहे हो तो टोटल ड्यूटी टाइम आपकी इतनी होती है, जिसमें आप डिस्पैच के पास भी जाते हो, ब्रीफिंग्स भी लेते हो, ट्रांजिट चेक भी करते हो। सो फ्लाइट टाइम इज व्हेन द एयरक्राफ्ट इज फ्लाइंग चॉक्स ऑफ टू चॉक्स ऑन। मूवमेंट ग्राउंड मूवमेंट से स्टार्ट होके ग्राउंड मूवमेंट पे रेस्ट करना फॉर डिपार्चर एंड आफ्टर लैंडिंग। तो उसके आगे पीछे का टाइम कितना होता है, एयरपोर्ट से आके पंच करके सब करके, ठीक है? उसमें कितनी लैंडिंग्स आपको अवेलेबल है? तो अगर आप 12.5 घंटे की शिफ्ट कर रहे हो तो 3 लैंडिंग अवेलेबल है। 11 घंटे की शिफ्ट कर रहे हो तो 6 लैंडिंग अवेलेबल है। तो ये 11 घंटे की शिफ्ट, 8 आवर्स ऑफ फ्लाइट, 6 लैंडिंग सबसे ज़्यादा प्रॉफिट दे सकता है मेरी एयरलाइन को। समझ रहे हो आप वहाँ पे? तो मे बी दे हंट फॉर दिस फर्स्ट। तो वो डिसाइड करते हैं, उनकी टीम होती है रोस्टरिंग की वगैरह वगैरह, आपको बस स्लॉट्स मिलते रहते हैं फिर। अगर आप 9 आवर फ्लाई कर रहे हो तो ये है, 10 आवर कर रहे हो तो ये है। सो ये ड्यूटी टाइम्स है। ऐसा ही आपको रेस्ट पीरियड भी मिलेगा फिर।
राइट।
बेसिक रेस्ट सीट, एयरक्राफ्ट में भी सीट होती है, मल्टी क्रू एयरक्राफ्ट होते हैं तो बंक बेड्स भी होते हैं, इंटरनेशनल फ्लाइट्स के लिए होते हैं। तो वहाँ पे 12-12 पायलट्स की टीम चलती है, तो उनको सोने के लिए जगह मिलती है उसके अंदर। कहाँ सोएंगे नहीं तो वो लोग। सो स्लीप हैज़ टू बी कॉन्शियसली डन। सो एवरीथिंग विल फाइन। एंड आपको मैक्सिमम 7 डेज उड़ा रहे हो, 14 डेज उड़ा रहे हो, तो कितना लिमिटेशन होगा, कितना ड्यूटी पीरियड होना चाहिए, सब लिखा है। साल भर में बच्चे लोग हैं ना, बच्चे एज इन आर स्टूडेंट्स एंड अदर स्टूडेंट्स, साल भर में 800-900 घंटे एक्यूमुलेट कर लेते हैं वो लोग फ्लाइंग के। साल भर में, फर्स्ट ईयर में ही। फ्लाइंग इज दैट डायनामिक। तो बॉडी अपने आप एडजस्ट हो जाती है। आगे देखो रेस्ट पीरियड, 12 आवर्स, 18 आवर्स, 36 आवर्स, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन टाइम जोन। सो 12 घंटे की रेस्ट तो तुम्हें मिलेगी, तो 8 घंटा सो लो, 4 घंटा जी लो, फिर जाओ ड्यूटी पे आप। ऐसा है, आप 8 घंटे फॉलो करना, आपको लंबी लाइफ मिलेगी और लंबे टाइम तक फिट रहोगे तुम। 6-7 घंटे से मत शुरू करना, आप 8 घंटे से ही शुरू करना। तो यूल ग्रो क्विकली। लास्ट में क्या हो जाता है ना, अभी मैं इसको बंद कर रहा हूँ। लास्ट में क्या हो जाता है, पायलट बन जाओगे, जॉब भी मिल जाएगी। इन द एंड उन पायलट्स के बीच में आप कहाँ आ रहे हो? आई वॉन्ट यू टू बी अमंग्स द टॉप वंस देन, अंदर ही अंदर फिर वो आपके नॉलेज परफॉर्मेंस पे एंड पीपल स्किल पे होता है। तो पहले नॉलेज एंड परफॉर्मेंस, फिर पीपल स्किल। जनरली लोग पहले पीपल स्किल करते हैं, नॉलेज परफॉर्मेंस नहीं होता, तो कहीं ना कहीं वो भी रिस्क पे रहता है हमेशा। सो आवर गोल विल ऑलवेज बी टू बी द बेस्ट और सेकंड बेस्ट। हम्बल रह के हम ये डालेंगे, फिर जब सीपीएल हो जाएगा, एटीपीएल हो जाएगा, तो बेस्ट के लिए टारगेट करेंगे। सो यू हैव टू बी इन टॉप टू इन योर पेपर्स ऑल्सो, सिलेक्शंस ऑल्सो, क्लास ऑल्सो, लाइफ ऑल्सो। सो ये फिलोसॉफी हमारी चलती रहेगी। वही काम करना है, वाई नॉट डू इट इन द बेस्ट वे। सो दैट्स होल फिलोसॉफी दैट आई वांटेड टू शेयर विथ यू, अलॉन्ग विद बेसिक इंस्ट्रक्शन, जो मैं एक ब्रोशर्स के साथ भी कर सकता था। समझ रहा?
हम्म।
बट आई एम टेकिंग दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी टू इंश्योर दैट यू अंडरस्टैंड एवरीथिंग एंड टेल मी इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चन। बाद में हम क्वेश्चंस को लॉक करेंगे और बाद में डिस्कस कर सकते हैं। और कुछ है तो मुझे बताओ।
नो, नथिंग एल्स।
सो मुझे है ना मैसेज करो कितने बजे लोगे लेक्चर। तुम्हें टाइम पता है, वो टाइम तुम्हें फोकस के साथ एट स्ट्रेच देना होगा, एटलीस्ट फॉर डेमो लेक्चर्स। आगे जाके आपको मैं और बेनिफिट्स बताऊंगा कि तुम हाफ हाफ भी लेक्चर्स कर सकते हो, बट वो अभी नहीं करेंगे हम। वो पहले बेसिक स्ट्रांग होंगे, उसके बाद करेंगे। तो मुझे मैसेज कर दो। नो प्रेशर, एन्जॉयमेंट के साथ होना चाहिए। ब्रेक लेके कर सकते हो आप, रात को कर सकते हो, सुबह कर सकते हो, आज शाम को कर सकते हो। मैसेज पे फर्स्ट लेक्चर बता दो, अकॉर्डिंगली आई शेयर इंस्ट्रक्शंस विथ यू एंड यू गेट स्टार्टेड। एक नई नोटबुक बना लेना। डिजिटल नोट्स भी चलेंगे, या पेपर पेन पे बनाओगे तो ओल्ड स्कूल लर्निंग भी अच्छी ही होती है। आईपैड पे भी लिख सकते हो, जो भी है। जेपैग टू पीडीएफ हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है, हेल्प यू। couple of lectures, you get used to it. It's okay if you make couple of mistakes, it's fine, no worries। ठीक है?
Yeah, so I would like to start with the lectures like right away.
ओके, 15 मिनट्स में करें? यू टेक अ
Half
रिफ्रेशर, हाफ एन
half an
आवर
hour, half an hour.
चलेगा। I'll share an email with links and certain instructions. Read the email carefully and कुछ डाउट्स रहेंगे तो टेक्स्ट पे पूछ लेना। विल बी कम्युनिकेटिंग इन ऑन टेक्स्ट ऑलवेज, इजी, क्विक, फास्ट। कोई इमरजेंसी है, सर का रिप्लाई नहीं आ रहा, तो बैक टू बैक कॉल्स कर सकते हो, या मेड या पैन पैन टेक्स्ट कर सकते हो। दैट्स द कोड फॉर अर्जेंसी एंड इमरजेंसी। एंड ठीक है, इंस्ट्रक्शंस पढ़ोगे तो जो जो मैंने बताया लेक्चर के लिए वो क्लियरली तुम्हें और समझेगा। लेक्चर स्टार्ट अपडेट, पॉज अपडेट, इन केस पॉज कर रहे हैं, जहाँ पॉज कर रहे हैं वो स्क्रीन बस फोटो भेज देनी है। जो भी काम करना है करके आओ। रिज्यूम करते हो तो 5 मिनट रिवाइंड करके रिज्यूम करना है। ये छोटी छोटी चीज़ें
Right.
लिखी है। एंड पढ़ लिया, समझ लिया, बोलो सर गेट रेडी टू स्टार्ट। क्लिक ऑन द लिंक, मेक श्योर आप लॉग्ड इन हो, जैसे हमने आपको बोला है लॉग्ड इन होने ईमेल में। शेयर अ स्क्रीन एंड स्टडी। बाद में लास्ट मैसेज तुम्हारा लेक्चर खत्म होने के बाद ही आना है, इन द फॉर्म ऑफ योर नोट्स। सिंपल। एंड वो हो
Okay,
गया।
and making notes is compulsory.
मेकिंग नोट्स इज कंपलसरी, बट यू डोंट हैव टू कॉपी पेस्ट एवरीथिंग।
Right.
यू डोंट पॉज टू मेक नोट्स, डोंट डू दैट। लाइव क्लास में क्या होता है, हम खुद से नोट्स बनाते हैं, वैसे ही बनाने हैं। या यू हैव टू मेक नोट्स। अगर आप एक पेज भी बना रहे हो मुझे चलेगा, अगर आप टाइटल बना के छोड़ रहे हो वो भी चलेगा, बट आई वांट टू सी अ रिकॉर्ड ऑफ योर लेक्चर्स। बिना नोट्स के कोई रिकॉर्ड नहीं होगा, कोई प्रूफ नहीं होगा आपने पढ़ा। सो दिस इज अ वे वी इंश्योर डिसिप्लिन।
Right.
है ना?
And is there a book I need to refer?
सारे नोट्स मिलेंगे तुम्हें, अभी सिर्फ क्लास नोट्स फॉलो करो जो मैं व्हाइट बोर्ड पे शेयर करूंगा। सिंपल।
Okay. Okay.
तुम्हें कहीं से कुछ नहीं लेना है, जो भी चाहिए सबकी सॉफ्ट कॉपी तुम्हें मिलेगी। एंड जस्ट गो विद द फ्लो, फिलहाल जस्ट गो विद द लेक्चर्स।
Okay.
है ना?
All right.
और कुछ रहेगा तो मुझे टेक्स्ट करो।
Yeah.
enjoy the session, okay? I'll take your leave
Yes.
now.
All right.
Let's do this, take care.
Yes, you too.